Hello, everyone, and welcome to our little corner of the internet where we talk about fountain pens, inks, journals, and journaling, just about everything and anything to keep you inspired. Hello, and welcome. Thanks for being here, and if you've been watching for a while, I humbly request that you subscribe. I'd love to have you on this journey with us, but hey, journal with us too. And see what happens. There's a lot of interesting and exciting things coming up on the channel. And you could be one of the usual suspects that I see in the comment section. I see Shane, who I spoke to earlier today, and Richard Zach, who I also spoke to earlier today. Chris Signs, who I spoke to earlier today. And I'm kind of hoping that David Pruitt shows up because we also spoke earlier today. I see Eric Miller, good friend of mine. Lots of good people out there. Thank you. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Evidently, the likes are good for the algorithm. We have to keep the YouTube algorithm happy. I don't know if this light's in the way. I'll move it. So, we got a really fun show this evening. It's kind of nice for me. It's a looser agenda. It was great having a guest last week. And then tonight we can just kind of chat. So we have a lot of stuff. I see Miss Marilyn Darling's in the house. Hello. Nice to see you. So a couple things I'd like to mention that this Friday I have a new video coming out on 3 reasons. 3. Hopefully they're 3. Often I exceed the amount of reasons, but 3 reasons that you must try a vintage fountain pen. Even if you write with fountain pens, it's interesting to hear 3 reasons why I think you must explore vintage fountain pens. So I hope you enjoy that. That comes out this Friday at noon. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Very nice. Appreciate it. Thank you. So, got an interesting show for you tonight, too. I thought I'd speak about the personality of pens, or maybe more accurately, how you express yourself through pens. So I just thought that would be interesting and fun, and we'll get into that in a bit. I also want to talk about an ink that Pen Chalet sent me. Pen Chalet has been a big supporter of mine. Lovely people. I do some videos for them over on another platform, and they send me some stuff, so I figured I'd share that with you as well. So maybe we'd be able to swatch it. I don't know. It's a little confined here, but hey, why not? So it's a really interesting ink, and I'll show that to you in a few moments. And then the other thing that I find a lot of fun, I think you guys enjoy it too, is the statistics for the channel. I thought I'd update where we are on the race of which country is in which place and the percentage of male to female viewership and which channels and videos you guys are watching according to YouTube. I think that's always fun. So we're going to try to get into that too. So it's a pretty full night. Now, one disclaimer, been sleeping with the windows open, because it's been warm in Massachusetts where I live. And I also live out on the edge of the woods. And with the window open, I'm getting all the pollen. So you might hear it in my voice a little bit this evening. So I'm going to keep soldiering on. And I do have a glass of iced tea with a lot of lemon in it that I will be nursing from time to time. So if my voice goes out, just please bear with me this hour or so that we're together. Also, with the window open, there's some sort of creature in our woods. I mean, we have a lot of creatures here at the edge of the woods. We have quite a few coyotes. And those of you that live near coyotes know what I'm speaking about when I say that they have this unnerving yelpy bark that they do when they get excited. And we get them right in our backyard. In fact, when the snow was out and I could see their footprints, the coyotes came all the way up onto my bulkhead which means they were peering into my dining room window. So those are some aggressive coyotes. So we hear those guys at night, and then we have the tree frogs, which I rather like. That's kind of what lulls me to sleep. But the creature I want to mention to you, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it sounds like the Green Knight sharpening his axe. So my wife and I got up in the middle of the night a couple nights ago, and I just mentioned that to her. I was like, honey, doesn't it like sound like the Green Knight? Like he's in the woods with his axe and he's sharpening it. And my wife thanked me for providing a lovely visual for the middle of the night. So there we have it. The Great Lakes Cruiser says it's the chupacabra. It could be a chupacabra. I didn't even think of that. Or hey, the Jersey Devil. Maybe he's on vacation on his way to Cape Cod. You never know. Oh, I see Sham Sani is here. Hello, Sham. Lovely to see you. Sham's a very nice fellow. So I thought I would talk a little bit about last week. Of course, we had AdventureDenali on the show, and I was absolutely delighted to host her on the show. It was so fun, so interesting. She was so generous with her knowledge and her time. Absolutely lovely. Behind the scenes was interesting too, because on this software that I speak to you through the streaming service here, normally when someone comes on the show, they're in a virtual green room and I can't speak to them, but we can see each other and they can hear me, but I can't hear them. So there's a lot of like waving to each other before show, or sometimes like Brendan and I will text and wave, and Yost was texting and we were talking that way. They did some kind of update, and I had told AdventureDenali that we wouldn't be able to speak, we would just be waving. But some kind of update went through and we could talk. And it was really interesting because it's about 5 minutes of, and I could see her and she was in the green room and I'm like, hey, how are you? And so we had a little chat and we're able to acquaint ourselves before we went live. And I'll be honest with you all, I was a little nervous last week, but I fell into my groove pretty quickly. But probably for the first couple minutes, I was a little nervous. I just have a ton of respect for her, and it was just really fun to have someone of her stature join the show. So super fun. I really, really enjoyed that. And I hope you guys did too. I mean, from the response, it seems like you guys really enjoyed it. And she just brought so much to the channel. I'm working on some other people, trying to get them on. So we'll have another interview guest soon. I've had 2 people say they would do the show. One is another fountain pen content creator. I'm having trouble nailing them down for an exact date, but very lovely person. Should be a lot of fun. I think we have interesting personalities. Like we're different enough. It should play really well in an interview. So I think you guys will like that. And then the other person who said they would do the channel is a pretty large watch YouTube creator. So it's one of the larger watch channels here on YouTube. And with them, I really wanted to get into their creative process. Like this person is very good at making incredible videos, really beautiful, synchronized to music and nice narrow depth of field, and just a really good storyteller and a really compelling screen presence. So I thought it'd be really interesting to get them on the show. So you will see that sometime soon as well. So pretty exciting. Excuse me. So, figured I'd start by showing you I have rediscovered the Mont Blanc 149, which got a little sidelined these past few months. There's a lot of other pens that have come through that have competed for its attention. So I really adore this pen, and many of you know it was a gift from my wife before she was my wife. So it's loaded with sentimental value. And it's been on many trips with us. It's been to England many times. It's been to Italy. It's been to Venice. It's been all around this country. It was with me when my daughter was born. It was with me when we got engaged. When I journaled about proposing to my wife, it was written by this pen. When I wrote my first descriptions of holding my daughter in my hand, it was written with this pen. It's actually a pretty amazing moment, you know, when your daughter's born. It was just like, there she is. And she grabbed my finger with her little hand. It was only the size of one of my knuckles at the end of my fingers. It was pretty amazing. So anyway, written with this pen. But it's been sidelined by the Egyptomania. It's been sidelined by the Visconti Homo sapiens and a few other pens, even though I do adore it. So very nice to have it back in the fold. I think another thing that's been sidelining it a bit is I've discovered that I like thinner and lighter pens these days. And it's that pendulum, right, that swings between who you are at that moment and what you're currently into. So I've been enjoying the 146 more than the 149. Even with that extra fine calligraphy nib, it writes fine without flexing. It's beautifully smooth. This does have an incredible medium nib. So just an absolutely brilliant pen. I just filmed a video on this pen comparing it to the Pilot Custom 823. I think that airs May 12th. And I think you guys will really enjoy that because it's sort of a clash of the titans. Which pen would I choose between the Montblanc 149 and the Pilot Custom 823? In fact, which one would you guys choose? Throw up some comments. Let me have a look. I'd enjoy seeing your opinion. But that video's done. So I thought we'd begin the main topic by talking about this pen. And this comes out of a video series I did on another platform and a video I did post here a long time ago. Channel's been on the air for about 1.5 years, and I think this probably goes back about a year. I feel like I really got into my swing since like November. I feel like from November to now, I'm able to express what I really want to say. And the reason is I bought Final Cut Pro. Once I had that editing software, I think it took me to a new level. Final Cut Pro, the MacBook Pro, and my phone, my 13 Pro Max that I film everything on. The combination of these three tools, I feel, is giving me all the tools that I need to express myself perfectly. So, those videos were like, who am I? Or, you know, which pen for what? And it was very much oriented to the idea that you have a certain day. So you have like a certain meeting at work or a certain activity that you're going to, like if you're going to close on a mortgage, which pen would I use to sign a mortgage? This actually is a pen I would use to sign a mortgage. In fact, one of the interesting things is that I've always put this pen in the realm of sort of like the writing instrument equivalent of a power tie. That this was sort of the heavy pen, the business pen, the close a big deal pen. But my opinion's changed a little bit about it. I think it does have that classic look, which frankly is a little boring. The style of this pen is a bit boring. I really wish it was burgundy. I love the burgundy one. One day I will be holding a burgundy one, even though that would contradict me trying not to add colors. So just let you know that I'm aware of my contradictions. But I actually wouldn't buy a 149 in burgundy, but I probably would buy like a 146 with a regular nib, not a calligraphy nib in burgundy. And I would try to get it for a good price. But so this pen I now see more as a writer's pen, because it really does have an extraordinary nib. This number 9 nib from them, of course made in-house by them. Very artisanal in how they craft them, supposedly, if you believe their promos. But the effect of writing with it is extraordinary. You get a really nice feel with this pen. But you have to watch my video as to whether or not it's worth the value proposition between this and the Pilot Custom 823. That's something you need to do. So anyway, so who am I when I reach for this pen? I used to be the button-down banker. This was like the other guy, you know, the other guy that shares my life, that comes out during the day. It used to be him. He used to use this pen more than I did. But now, it's more that I'm using it for journaling. And the width is nice. It feels very pleasant with my hand. As I get older, I hate to admit, especially since I'm about to become even older next month, my hands don't like to pinch as much as they did. Now, this hand is great. I feel like, maybe because I play guitar, poorly or not, I do play, that this hand has a lot of movement and things, but this hand, not so much. So, and I have a little bit of issues with this wrist sometimes. So, pinching is not so pleasant, and the bigger pen is a little more pleasant. But even the 146 is rather large. So now this pen isn't just for business, though I often think of it that way. So let's go through some others, shall we? The kind of personalities they have and when I pull them out. I'll have to say this pen is another pen that I've used often for business because it is a classic pen and it hides its most amazing trait, and that's the vac filling system, which is hidden in this compared to something like the TWSBI VAC 700R, which I happen to have handy. This guy gets a little chubby in the middle from the mechanism. The 823 conceals it a bit. A little bit more elegant. So this pen I often use as a business pen. So when I'm reaching for it, I want a really exquisite writing experience. I want a pen that's pretty camouflaged, that blends in. In fact, if you noticed, I'm sure you guys noticed, there's blue ink in here. It's very rare for me to have blue ink in a Pilot Custom 823. And when I have blue ink in a pen, that means it's coming to the office with me, because blue is my preferred ink color for work. And it's usually the J. Urban Eclat de Saphir that's in it. That's not what's in here, though, my friends. This is Compeki. Compeki's in here. Which, with this nib plus Compeki, when it comes to a writing experience, this is absolutely exquisite right now. So I'm using this for journaling, but it's coming to the office with me fairly regularly these days. And I just refilled it. I had, I believe, I always forget, diamine. Is it ancient copper or is it antique copper? It's ancient copper, right, guys? Yeah, that's what I had in here. And it was a beautiful match. But now the blue. So it's a great pen for a lot of different occasions. So I want to show you one of my more flamboyant and artsy pens. When I am feeling like I want to write a poem or something, I'm going to reach for this one. This is the Piniter full metal jacket with the quill nib. I'll probably get inky tonight, guys. But it is empty. You can see the ink view level. It has an internal fill system and a little key that comes with it. There's a little key that magnetically attaches to make it easier to turn. You can turn it without it. It's currently empty. Why is it empty? Because I'm trying not to overfill my pens. And by overfill, I mean all my pens. Because I have almost 80, and on any given day, probably maybe 65 are inked, maybe 70. So beautiful pen, great clip. But this is a pen that I feel very, very creative with. Very creative. If I wanted to draw Sir Gawain in the Green Knight, I would draw it with this. So it's very cool. It's a great pen. So that's kind of who I am when I reach for that one. This, I always think of the Visconti Homo sapiens as sort of a European gentleman's pen. I follow a lot of fashion blogs, and one of them shows the men of Florence. And the men that they show in Florence often have, it's like perfect facial hair, perfectly groomed, incredible like gray hair, a denim shirt with a beautiful blazer on top, a nice pair of jeans, and probably a gorgeous pair of Ferragamo shoes, because Ferragamo is based in Florence as well. I imagine that's who you are when you reach for this pen. You're a creative, interesting, productive person that probably follows their own rules and has their life set up such that they can be very expressive and creative. It's a beautiful nib, guys. Beautiful pen. I don't spend enough time with this pen. This pen and I almost are having a long distance relationship. I love it. My wife bought me this for Christmas, and I don't get to play with it as much as I wish I could. I need to remedy that. I probably need to do some more content on it. That's usually how I spend more time with pens. So, but absolutely brilliant pen. And I certainly feel like I have a connection to Italy through this pen. I mean, it's literally made out of igneous rock from Sicily. So you get a piece of Italy in your hand. So it's just absolutely gorgeous. Someone asks, why can't we just be happy with the Pilot Metro? Said no one. Maybe somebody said it. You know, I actually didn't have very good luck with my Pilot Metro. I kind of want another one. This has a fine nib. I don't always do great with fine nibs, but I see some of the more colorful ones. I respect this pen, but we don't have the best relationship. I would love to trade this one for another iteration sometime, maybe with a medium nib. So, but I love pilots. I recently did some journaling with the E95S, and with this, I mean, I just see this like, 60s cool. This just has such like a mid 60s vibe cool. The design reminds me of like a cosmetic case, like some kind of a vintage lipstick case where you pull it out and then it's all stylized in gold and really pretty. I mean, Pilot knows how to make a fantastic pen. They're one of my favorite pen brands. When I equate them with watches, I often say that they remind me of Seiko. And this has an absolutely incredible gold nib. And I'm not sure, guys, but maybe one of you can read that. I'm pretty sure this is an extra fine, which would be rare for me, because my only extra fine other one that I can think of is my 146. But this is why I keep loops. Oh, sorry, it's a fine, but that's even rare for me. I don't have that many fine pens, but has a bit of bounce if you're one to use pressure. I have experimented with it just because it's long enough that you can tell you're not going to really hurt this nib. It's quite a long nib. I believe I described it as aquiline in one of my videos. I should probably do more on this. Do you guys miss this one? I think this needs to be featured. We got to make up a list just for this. It's so brilliant. But with that pen, I just feel like I'm someone who's really into precision and engineering because it's so pretty and so precise. It has a bit of feminine energy too about it, which I really love. So absolutely brilliant. Jin Talis is a Pilot fanboy. Me too. I love Pilot, guys. I love them so much. I love Pilot in part because you almost forget all their other pens, right? The fact that their roller balls and things are huge. And if you just think of all their amazing, iconic fountain pens. Or how about this one? A fountain pen that smiles at you. Is there anything more delightful than that? This is one of my favorite pens, not just because of the nib, which is fantastic, but because of the way the colors are. I love two-tone pens like this. I love when the barrel and the cap are two different colors. I think between the Preppy and this, I prefer this, even though I think the Preppy is extraordinary. So who am I when I reach for this? I think I'm very playful when I reach for this. And I think I'm probably not journaling with this pen. I'm probably drawing with it. Or I'm teaching my daughter how to write or draw something. My daughter and I have been drawing together, and she is getting so good at noses and eyebrows and eyelashes and things. I'm trying to teach her to see. And we're starting to talk about shading and seeing depth and light and all that. Obviously we have a lot of time. She's 6, but she's doing so well. So fun. Puppet Access says, yes, that one sticks its tongue out at you. Yes, this one actually has its tongue out, right? Yeah, I love this one. It's so charming. Such a delightful pen. And while I'm speaking, this is my Pilot Falcon. This is probably the one pen I don't get along with in my collection that I've had for a long time. I bought this when they first came out with the flex nib, and I think their flex nibs are different now, but I'm not very impressed with this one. Though I really should ink this up and try it again. So I was going to say, what's my personality when I'm using this? I'm probably frustrated. So it's probably not fair. Not fair to bring that one up. So I'm going to show you another one. This is kind of the equivalent of wearing formal wear. This is when I am dressed up for a special occasion. Maybe a really nice dinner with my wife and daughter, or some kind of a holiday party or something. I'm going to bring out this one. This is my Cartier Diablo, and it's made out of Chinese lacquer and has a ruby, which I doubt is real, but a ruby cabochon, and lovely, lovely material. The interesting thing about this pen is I'm like 99% sure, and some other folks have confirmed this to me, that this is made by Montblanc and decorated by Cartier, because Cartier is not a fountain pen company, although they do have some. But you see the way the fins are, the way the nib looks, I don't know, but an absolutely gorgeous pen. It was kind of a lot of money back in the day for a cartridge filler. These went for, I think, around $1,000, and this was like 15 years ago. they still have them from time to time, but never in Chinese lacquer. It's harder to find them. They're usually black now, not in the red. But an absolutely gorgeous pen, a very heavy pen. I got super lucky buying this pen. I was at the Prudential Center here in Boston, and they at Levenger were liquidating their non-Levenger fountain pens at the time. And so this was 80% off. So I got it for $200, which I thought was the buy of the century. And I'm really glad I have it. So I've used it. I didn't cherish it. I still have the box, by the way. But this definitely comes out when I'm feeling really dressed up. John Manuel's a fan. Hello, John. Oh, I see David Pruitt is here. We were speaking earlier today. Art Mingle is a big fan of the Cartier Diablo. It's a great, great pen. Absolutely. So, what else do we have? This is kind of fun. You know, I should just go through the collection sometime. It's a vintage Mont Blanc. Here's a vintage flex nib on a Mont Blanc. I really like these guys. If you're not fans of Mont Blanc, try a vintage one. This has a really great flex nib. Great writer. Fantastic ink window. Kind of reminds you of Pelican. And piston fill. Charming. Inexpensive. You can get these for $200. And they're fantastic writers. Don't ask me what model it is, because I can never remember. I have them written down, but like one's like a, nah, I can't remember. I know one's a 264. Here's another one, kind of similar. Same kind of ink window. All have flex nibs. I have one with an oblique nib. They're a lot of fun. I highly recommend them. So let's bring out one of my favorites, shall we? This is brilliant. One of the finest pens I've ever written with. This is one of my like studious pens now. I do take it outside. I do get it out into the field because I feel like every pen should. But it really shines at home. One of the most beautiful nibs anywhere. And this nib is collapsibly soft. It's the closest thing to a vintage Waterman nib I've ever encountered in a modern pen. By the way, look at the fins. Do you see how similar it looks to the Cartier? And even the nib shape is in the neighborhood. Although I wouldn't really compare this nib with that side by side. I'd go with like a 146 or something. But look at this. This pen is great. This is a studious pen. This is a dark academia pen. And in fact, if the 149 wasn't mentioned in this book, this should have been on the dark academia list. I mean, it has a hieroglyph on it, for heaven's sakes. Just absolutely brilliant. And I love how they riffed on their mark, their logo. So it's on there, but it's on there in a different way. It takes a lot of courage for a company to not keep their branding consistent. And I appreciate that. So absolutely brilliant pen. So here's some more creative one. Another one that I write with quite a bit. Do you guys remember this one? This is a Diamond 580 in Iris that Brendan Schmidt of Atlas Stationers sent to me. It has Gerbon. Oh, I always forget the name of it, guys. It's like Emerald de Chivor. My French is terrible, but you know, the green stuff that's really cool. But the nib is fine, so you don't get the perfect expression of the ink. I feel like you need a medium or thicker nib to really get the expression of a fun ink. But You can certainly put this in here comfortably because you can field strip this pen pretty easily and clean it thoroughly. So no issues there. Plus Jayarbon inks are some of my favorites. I'm working on a Jayarbon video, by the way. I've written half of it. I don't know if you know this, but I love Jayarbon. I just think they're the best. And there's a chance we could collaborate on something. And if we do, I'm going to seize the opportunity. Here's the iris in the VAX 700R form. And this one has Yamabudo in it. Because some pen, guys, some pen has to have Yamabudo. And this is one of my journaling pens. I love the journal with this. It has a cursive italic nib that was done at Pen Realm beautifully. It's an incredible writer with an amazing ink capacity. Amazing. So, let me show you guys the pen I reach for when I'm looking for connection. When I'm reaching out, often to one of you, the Cognoscenti and Illuminati members. If I go to write a letter to you guys, because we're doing our letter exchange for Cognoscenti and Illuminati members, I reach for usually one of three pens. And the number one is this. The TWSBI Eco Rose and Smoke. Rose Gold. And this one has a stub nib. And the ink that's in here is one of my favorites from India, Krishna Moonview 2. So if somebody in the comments has received a letter from me written with this pen and in Krishna Moonview 2, could you please just comment and let everyone know what it looks like and what you think? I would appreciate that. Ooh, Jim Tallis is a big Yamabudo fan. Do you know that I kept Mont Blanc Royal Blue in my pen for 10 years? 10 years or more. And when I broke that streak, I put in Yamabudo. So by then the warranty didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Let's look at a few more pens, shall we? So you guys were very nice when I asked about which nib, or excuse me, the grip on the Lamy Safari, whether it was perfect. And I just asked you in a poll to agree with the statement. It is perfect or it's not perfect. So far, I was surprised. 53% of you voted that it is perfect. 53%. A majority says that this is the perfect grip. I was surprised. Actually, not what I would have thought. So, very cool. I'm going to do more, by the way, on these soon. My lovely Kaweco Sports. I have a concept in mind to do a video on these that I think you guys are going to love. It's just so fun. One of these is a double broad. It's the only double broad I have. One of the smoothest writers. I've had such great luck with Kaweco nibs. I have about 10 of them, and in full disclosure, I only paid for one. Kaweco's been really kind in supporting me over on another platform. So I get a lot of Kawecos. But every one of the nibs I've had fantastic luck with. My favorite probably being the stub nib, what they call their calligraphy nib, on the Kaweco Brass Sport, which is just brilliant. Brilliant. Also, I should mention that the bronze one's tempting. Adventure Denali posted a video on the bronze one. Very tempting. Very tempting. So, good stuff. All right, so that was fun. I think we should talk about some other things. But that was super fun, and I think we're going to do that some more and again. And I think we'll just go through some of the pen collection on occasion and talk about different ones. Like, I still am using this heavily. I haven't actually done a review of this, but I featured it in the What You Should Do When You First Get a Pen video. I refuse to call it the JR. I'm just calling it the Junior because it is a Junior. It's so tiny. I know it's J Reborn and all that, but come on. It's sort of like when the green Submariner came out and everyone called it the Hulk. It's like, you can't stop me from renaming it. But isn't it gorgeous? I love this pen. Very nice. Brian Holzer sent that. Very sweet. Lovely guy. Yes, you know, Shane brings up a great point. The Kaweco's coming out with a piston filler soon. That's going to be worth it, I think. I think that might be a must-have pen. I saw an interview with the CEO of Kaweco a few years ago, and he was saying that he thinks that Kaweco should have piston-filled pens. Because from his childhood, that's what he remembers. So I guess it's been taking him a while to actually give us that. But it's brilliant. Just brilliant. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this ink. I got it from Pen Chalet. They send me their literary inks from Varenjul, or Warrenjal. However one pronounces it. I like Varenjul. But Moby Dick. Moby Dick. By the way, I just listened to an In Our Time podcast on Moby Dick. Do you guys know that I love In Our Time? And the podcast on Moby Dick was from several years ago, but I just wanted to listen to it. Moby Dick is very much rooted in Massachusetts. Of course, Melville was from Massachusetts. It features Fall River and Nantucket in the book. I've never got through the entire book, I will admit to you. I did read about half of it, but I think I'm ready to dive in again. Forgive the pun. But I'm very inspired by it. So, really interesting ink from Warrenjul. Haven't opened it yet, so let's see what it looks like. I'm wondering if it's a shimmer or if it's just regular. I didn't do any research. I would say it's just regular ink. So that's fun. I love these little whiskey decanter bottles, by the way. So you guys want to splotch this? Splotch? Splat? Swatch? Something? You want to make a square of ink? Should we? Okay, I'm opening it very carefully because I love to make messes. All right, so here's something I like. Do you remember my diatribe on the first wheel press inks and how you have to take the bit of plastic off? This one does not have it. It just has a cap. So I'm very pleased. I do have a Q-tip here, which is nice. Must be old because I've been using paintbrushes instead for my swatches. So I have the ink library, all the different inks we got lately. Ooh, Witch by Starlight. Have I showed you guys this one? I bought this one, Witch by Starlight. Okay, so we have Warrenjul's Moby Dick that was generously sent in by the lovely folks at Pen Chalet. So let's see what it looks like. Shall we? Shall we? I think we should. I'm going to try to do this. Hopefully it looks nice, because I'll fix it later. Wow, this is really light, guys. It's lighter than I was expecting. Very light. It's kind of noisy. Boop. I mean, when you see it like this, you kind of expect it to come out like navy, but it's like it almost looks like Sailor Mano. Okay. I like to do this kind of, it's definitely watercolory, but it's got a bit of the ocean about it, doesn't it? It definitely has a bit of the ocean. So I'm going to fill this up, or I'll write a bit with it later. I'm not going to do that now, but I wanted to at least get the color to you. Much lighter than I was expecting. Much, much lighter. What do you guys think? Can you see it okay? Is it lighter than you were expecting? Now I have to leave this open because it does take a bit to dry. It's watercolor paper. By the way, with the lighter ink, sometimes I don't always like to write with really light ink, but I do like to paint with them. So I like it. I like it quite a bit. So there we have it. Moby Dick. Sent in by Pen Chalet. Lovely, lovely people. I also got some letters today, which I can't wait to read. Can't show you because they have addresses. One from John Manuel. Lovely stationery, John. Brilliantly done. And one from the incomparable, incredible Chris Signs. So very excited for these. Can't wait to read them. Also got a new book today. I couldn't resist this. Charles Bukowski on cats. I love cats. I am historically a Bukowski fan. Haven't really read him since like the late 1980s. But the idea of Charles Bukowski talking about cats was irresistible. So that's on the list now. Okay, what else haven't we spoken about? Oh, I know. Stats. You guys love stats, right? I love stats. Everybody loves stats. So let's go through some stats, shall we? First off, thank you to all of you that are here. We have exceeded 6,000 subscribers. So there's more than 6,000 people on this journey with us. That's a lot of voices to join in on the comments. It's pretty exciting. So I'm inspired by that, encouraged, and motivated. So thank you. I shall continue to do my best to make outstanding videos for you guys. And we have some interesting ones coming up. And I'm gonna describe some of those before the night is out. Kaylee is a fan of Charles Bukowski on cats. How can you not love cats? Oh, this is fun. Are you making fun of me? Kaylee's making fun of me. No, HJ, you love stats. I do love stats, but you know what it is? It's really not so much me. It's that other guy that loves stats. And he like takes over when stats are around, and he just starts to like seize back my mind and my body, and he goes back into control. But I hope you guys don't mind stats, so because we are going to go through them. And I think they're pretty interesting. So let's do that, shall we? Okay. Let's talk about geography. So the top geography that watches this channel, unsurprisingly, is the United States. It is like Dr. Jekyll, Miss Marilyn Darling. The second most country that enjoys this channel, I hope, is the United Kingdom. Thank you to my second home, the home of my wife, the United Kingdom. Number 2 of the channel. Chris Signs likes stats. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for supporting me when Kaylee was ganging up on me. I'm just kidding. Okay. Third most country, Canada. Thank you, Canada. Canada came out of nowhere and just like is blowing through everyone. Thank you, Canada. Moving down is India. India, I don't know what happened. I thought we had a thing. You guys were second. I was like really rooting for you. And hope to see you place a little better next time. I love India. You guys make great fountain pens and you have great inks that come from there. So fantastic. After India is Germany, another country with great fountain pens. Some decent inks, but fantastic fountain pens too. India and Germany. So kind of interesting that they're both together. And then after Australia, the Netherlands, I think Yost brought those along. And then the Philippines, Spain, and Italia. Italy, you're very low. I'm sorry. Mi dispiace. Perché ti non piace il mio video. Mi dispiace. Let's go into cities, shall we? Everyone loves cities. The number one city that watches this channel is New York, New York. Thank you. The number two is London, my beloved London. Thank you. Number three is Toronto. Then Los Angeles, Chicago, Seattle, Philadelphia, my hometown, Philadelphia. Thank you, Philadelphia. Ann Arbor, Denver, Sydney. Do you guys know who's missing? Yes, that would be Boston, which is like a half hour from where I am right now. Boston, I don't know what I did. I'm sorry. I don't have your accent. I just can't. I'm sorry. I try. All right, let's go into ages, shall we? A subject I'm a little sensitive about these days. But let's. Uh-oh. Getting some kind of had some kind of an error message on the screen, but it went away, so hopefully everything's all right. Okay, so if we look at ages, they don't collect data, I believe, under 17, which is probably good. 18 to 24, we have about 25%. Then 25 to 34, 28%. 35 to 44, 28%. 45 to 54, 32%. My age group, 55 to 64, 30%. And then above 65, 30%. Why does that feel like that's like 120 million percent? That's 60, 90. That's way over 100%. Average percentage viewed. That's how they have it here, guys, but that does not add up to 100%. I can assure you of that. But it does look like if you look at the graph, which might be a better representation, 45 to 54 is the biggest line, okay? So I know enough maths. So here's something I'm really proud of, guys. Really proud of. Oh, you know what? I think that was like somebody sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. And it was a slice of pink birthday cake with purple icing. Thank you. Super sticker from Alfredo and the Film. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So here's something I'm really proud of, guys, because you know this is something I'm kind of working on. This is the male to female ratio. These are the males. This is female. Right here, this is the only way they characterize people. And it's 23% female. I'm so happy about that. Because it used to be like 99% male. And then it was like 88%. And then it went to like 17% female. And now to be at 23%, it's just like awesome. I just feel like I'm accomplishing something with that. And the female audience watches longer than the male audience. So look out, guys. I'm watching you, not watching me. Okay. So I think this is probably the more interesting stuff. Oh, another super sticker. Thank you. Wow, Art Mingle. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's very, very generous and kind of you. Thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. That's a nice way. Like now I can see it highlights the ones that have like super stickers and stuff. So thank you. Thank you for that. I want you to know how appreciative I am. Okay, so here are content that you guys watch. So, are you watching these things? I'm going to read you some of them. So, Brian Goulet's top 3 everyday carry fountain pens. The long title from Brian Goulet. He got 31,000 views on that in 5 days. Good show, old sport. The best buy it for life pen and another pen battle. Also by Goulet. You guys are watching that. How was that video? Was it good? I gotta read this. So TMW Brent 14 says males are channel surfers. Duh. Yeah, I plead guilty to that too sometimes. I have short attention span. Theater sometimes. My poor wife. Okay, so another video you guys are watching is my top 3 fountain pens I've regretted selling, so I rebought them, by Pens and Tea. A kind of long title, but she did very well with it. 4.8 thousand views. So good on you, Pen and Tea. Well done. Okay, here's one. I know you guys are watching because I watched this one. Pen Thoughts. Kaweco Bronze Sport by AdventureDenali. She got 6,000 views in 3 days. Good job. Great video. Very tempting. She's killing me with this pen because I see it and it glows. It glows like a Hattori Hanzo sword or like the Sword of Destiny or something. It's like this amazing mystical object. And mine looks so dull in comparison. My brass, which is aged and tarnished and beautifully weathered, but then that bronze is blonde and shimmering and glows from an ethereal light, like the Holy Grail. Like I'm Indiana Jones and I'm just trying to grasp it. And yeah, I've probably taken that too far, but it does kind of feel that way. And every time she shows that pen, I get closer and closer to pulling the trigger on it. And it directly contradicts everything that I just put out last week, that I mostly put out not for you guys, but for me. This is to rein me in. I mean, most of you are sensible people. I'm the one with the problem. So I would absolutely love to have that bronze pen. Okay, so Fig Boot on pens has won the ST DuPont Defy Millennium, which I'm assuming is a review. He doesn't say. But you guys watch that. He did very well with that video. I'm sure it's a fine video. He also had one called Rockstar Daydreamer, which sounds like Rockstar Daydreamer, which would be interesting. But I'm assuming that's another review. He did quite well on that one. Good show, Fig Boot. Well done. Doodlebud with a provocative title. Better than the Lamy 2000? Question mark? Lamy Studio LX Review. I often put things like that in my titles. They're kind of clickbaity. Like, you must look at this video or your nose will fall off. Clickbaity. I don't know. Something like that. Here's somebody I never heard of. So it's kind of a new name to join our watched list. Samuel Naldi. I don't know Samuel Naldi, but he's doing quite well. He got almost 10,000 views in 2 weeks on a video called Best 5 German-Made Fountain Pens. Brilliant. All right, let's move on. So here's something interesting. This changed. So this is how YouTube shows when you guys are online. And normally we YouTubers plan our releases when you're there. So for years, you guys were really dark Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But for some reason now, it's all Sunday. Everybody's on Sunday. Now, I release on Friday. So this would tell me to release on Sunday. But I'm not going to release on Sunday. I'm going to release on Friday and just assume that you guys will watch it on Sunday, because I kind of like this Tuesday, Friday schedule. But it's interesting as your channel evolves, you guys evolve as a group, and the habits seem to have changed a bit. I don't know why that is, but it's really interesting. Part of the problem with these stats is that I don't know what they're telling me at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, what does that tell me? I don't really know. But it does tell me when to release a video, but I'm not going to do it. All right, here's some channels you guys watch. I think you like this part. By the way, this is my iPad Pro with this awesome keyboard. I write all my articles, all my short stories, all my scripts for YouTube on this. This is my perfect writing machine because it gets small. I can carry it around with me, and it's just a brilliant working device. I love it. Okay. So what are you guys watching? What are you watching? See, everyone's looking forward to Friday videos. So probably unsurprisingly, you're watching Goulet. Goulet with 200,000 subscribers. Good on you. Pens and Tea you guys watch. Fig Boot on Pens. Doodle Bud. And that Samuel Naldi person who I've never heard of. They must have an awesome channel because everyone's watching them. So they must have some secret I don't have. Amy Alphabet says, honestly, I watch a bunch of your videos over and over. Just love them. Wow, thanks. That's huge. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind. I appreciate that. I try to make my videos like rewatchable. I try to put different Easter eggs and themes. So I appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you. Mara Christian, I listen back on far too many YouTube videos, but I learned so much. Very true. You can learn a lot from these folks. Inquiring Minds, you guys are watching. SBRE Brown, you guys are watching. And AdventureDenali you're watching. I certainly hope so. AdventureDenali has 24,000 subscribers. Fantastic channel. Goldspot Pens you're watching. Goldspot, very nice fellow, who's the face of that channel. I wonder if I could get them on. That would be really cool. Mommy Brown wants a true crime in pens. I have some things coming up. It might be interesting to you. But they haven't been filmed yet, so stay tuned. Oh, and Anderson Pens you guys watch. Yosika Stationery. JG3 Reviews. Karina Loves to Plan. Apple Boom. I'm glad you guys are watching Apple Boom. He's a very fun podcast. And the Penultimate Dave. Penultimate Dave. Brilliant. Okay. So that was fun. I thought now I would tell you what's coming up long term. And a little bit about the kind of creative process I'm on lately, because we already hit the hour mark somehow. And thank you for all the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let me tell you what's coming up on the channel. Library video bloopers. See, that was one. Normally bloopers go to Cognoscenti and Illuminati members, but I put up a blooper reel that went to all members. That was so fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And just so you know, in the future, I'm not editing out the bad language. So I might put a little parental advisory, but just expect an outburst. It's very possible. Okay. So our next video coming out on Friday is called Top 3 Reasons That You Must Try Vintage Pen. That comes out Friday at noon. And knowing Hemingway Jones as I do, hardly ever is there just 3. Like if I say top 5, there's usually like 7 or 6. And if I say 3, there's probably more. It's a tradition with me, not of a banker not being able to count. It's kind of funny because someone in the comments said, well, why don't you just make it the top 5? And I'm like, because it's funny. Like, it's funny to say top 3 and then put out 4 or 5. If I just say top 4 and I give you 4, it's not funny. It's not charming. It's not quirky. It's cool to go over, I think. Go back in my back catalog. Look at any of the top 5 lists. Sometimes there's like 7 or 8. So get that. So I see, yeah, the retail channels are good, but I'll say this. Not being affiliated with retail, I can say anything I want about a pen. Even if someone gives it to me or whatever, I can still say it's rubbish if it's rubbish. I will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. That's the advantage of not selling them. I don't have to convince you to buy them. My interest isn't for you guys to buy a pen. My interest is for you guys to be able to experience it through me so that you get a sense of it. And then maybe you purchase it, maybe you borrow it. Maybe you just like the way I do videos. That would be my favorite. If you guys watched just because you like the style of my videos and because you know there's just going to be a bit of philosophy or literature or some kind of funny Easter eggs or something woven into the fabric of it. It's not about me getting you to buy a pen. I will celebrate every purchase you make with you, and I'm not here to discourage you from buying pens, but I'm not here to have you buy one. So being unaffiliated is great because I can say anything I want, like that the Pilot Falcon is rubbish. Oh, Lad, my boy. Thank you. Super chat from Lad. Thank you very much. Lad and I spent a lot of time talking, so it's really kind of you to send something. He's become a really good friend. Lovely guy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love seeing you here too. Thank you. So, hey, thank you. Kara's pen. I do an excellent job. Thank you. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Very cool, Lad. Thank you. I see a lot of kind comments. Simon and I, we go way back, don't we, Simon? I appreciate how your channel is unbiased. Thanks. I mean, I have my personal biases on which pens I like, right? Like, I'm a bit of a Montblanc fanboy, but if they sent me a pen that had a crummy nib, I wouldn't protect them. I'd excoriate them, especially spending $1,000 if you got a crummy iteration. I mean, you guys know that because I wasn't that happy with my 146 when I first got it. But I think that's another thing. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm being kind of immodest, and maybe I should rein myself in. But one of the things that I'm trying to do with the channel, and I retroactively appreciate about myself, it sounds terrible, but I'm just being honest, is like the journey we went on with the Montblanc 146 with the calligraphy nib. I wanted that pen for years, and I could never buy it. Every time it came up, they were sold out before I had a chance. And then it came up, and it was like, oh man, I got to spend $1,000 if I want it. I'm like, oh well, just do it. So I did it. It came, and I did the live video here, and I didn't do much with it. I unboxed it. It was like first impressions. I'm like, oh, this is great. I started to write with it. I was not happy. Not happy at all. Very disappointed. So instead of hiding the disappointment, not wanting to be embarrassed, I kind of went through that period where you try to convince yourself that you really like it. But instead of hiding, I did a video on disappointment, on how profoundly disappointed I was with the pen. And it had like the Great Gatsby quoted at the end about Gatsby believed in that green light at the end of Daisy's dock. And it was so fun. It had some beautiful visuals on the beach at dawn that I went out, I think at 6 o'clock in the morning to film. And I was really happy with that video. And I feel like I need to update it because what's happened since is that I took some calligraphy lessons from Montblanc. They have calligraphy lessons, which are fun. Some of you take them. I see some of you guys there. And now I really like it. I really like the way it works. So it's just really cool. Really cool. Jeremy Walla just became a member. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome to the crew. Somebody get you a beanie. Is that what they said in Steve Zissou? Somebody order him a beanie. But welcome. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to have a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to tell you some more videos that are coming up. So hold on. The voice actually held up okay, considering. Not too bad. So, next week are my top 5 favorite fountain pens. I haven't done one in a year. Not easy, guys. Not easy. And to make it tougher on myself, I only allowed one from each brand. So, I think you're going to enjoy that. That's next week. 2 weeks from now is the return of Conway Stewart to the channel. So Conway Stewart sent me, and I think you've seen it on my live, and I'd show it to you, but it's packaged to go back, a Winston Cherry Red fountain pen. Absolutely amazingly beautiful pen. But do I recommend it or not? Do I like it? Is it nice? Is it good? Or is it just pretty? Is it just a pretty face? That's coming up in 2 weeks. I keep renaming this one. I haven't really thought of a fantastic name for it. Right now it's called You Deserve Some Luxury. Because I was saying that the pen's kind of like a day at the spa. But we're going to really break it down. I think you're going to enjoy that. Ooh, Jim Tallis said buy some Hemingway Jones merch. Beanies should be the first product. Yeah, that's a neat idea. I have a couple other ideas too for that, because it's stuff that I would have, like bookmarks. Wouldn't bookmarks be cool? Would say write your way through it, which is kind of our channel's motto, if you will. Okay. So, this is a big one. I'm glad you guys are sticking around for this. On May 12th, all right, I guess I got the date of the Mont Blanc versus Pilot Custom 823 wrong. That's coming out on May 19th. What's coming out on May 12th is maybe the most ambitious video I've ever done, guys. The most ambitious. I showed it to my wife because I was scared that I went too far. Literally. It was filmed at the Worcester Art Museum, and some of you that follow me on Instagram have seen some of the pictures from Worcester Art. I took pictures of the Conway Stewart there. There's some photos of me in front of Roman mosaics. They happen to be on the wall. And what's it about? Okay, so this is what it's about. It's called How Fountain Pens Help Me to Handle Depression. So I dug deep for this, guys, into how I use journals and fountain pens as a way to ensure that I don't fall into that abyss of depression that I haven't had a major episode in like 12 years, but it's always there, isn't it? It's always lurking over your shoulder like a dark shadow. It's there like that figure you see and then you turn and it's not actually there, but it's there. And I really wanted to share this with you guys because I honestly feel like it could help. And it's not medical advice. It's just ways of romanticizing your life and looking out for signs and just having a really positive mental attitude. But I'll tell you, it is an ambitious video. It took me about a week and a half to edit it. It has cuts that I've never tried before that I'm very pleased with how they came out, because I'm learning editing all the time. It has my personal philosophy in there, what I think of life, even things like the meaning of life. It's in there. It's like an episode of True Detective, the first season. So if I'm overselling it, I'm not. It's 10 times better and 10 times more interesting and profound than I can put into words right now. I'm so proud of it. I can't believe I produced it. I feel like somebody else did, and I just acted in it. So that comes out on May 12th. And I'm really, really excited for you to see it. And I'm also kind of nervous. I came this close to deleting it because it's really personal. It's intensely personal. But we've done that before, haven't we? We cover a lot of personal on this channel, because from the pen you can go anywhere. You can extrapolate to anything. So I think you guys will enjoy it. So I really hope so. I'm really looking forward for you guys to see it. So, Richard Sims watches my videos over and over too. Thank you. That's really kind. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay. So on May 19th is the Mont Blanc versus the Pilot Custom 823. It's breezy. It's fun. It was a break after doing the depression video. I was like spent artistically. That sounds so pretentious, but I've already owned up to being pretentious, so just bear with me. After I made that, I had nothing else. And I said to my wife, like, I need to do another video to get it in the queue, because I like to be a month out. And what is it now? The 18th? So I have videos planned till the 19th of May, which is good. But I needed something light because I needed to edit it. And I still wanted it to be valuable. I still wanted it to be me. So I made it fun and breezy. And I did it in live time. So I compare both pens. And I do it, I mean, it's edited, but I didn't script it. So I compared each part of each pen. I did a value proposition, and then I choose which one you should choose. And I think you'll be surprised. I think you will. Chiro, my friend, nice to see you. Gino, thank you. So lovely stuff. Oh, Chris Sign's still here. Chris Sign says these videos really help people. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. That's kind of why I do it. When I get that deep. And plus, I think you guys deserve interesting videos. I think you deserve cutting edge. I think you deserve me to push myself to my limits and give you really exciting, interesting, rewatchable content. And I think you're going to enjoy some of the new stuff that's coming up. I have some ideas. My wife and I, now that I can edit a little better, I think it's time to go into like Scorsese territory. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now. But I think you're going to really enjoy some of what's coming up. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to make it really interesting. And we're going to make it really expressive. So we're taking things to the next level, because that's what we do here in the Hemingway Jones Fountain Pen Show. So super fun stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are at the end of a long journey. I tried to go for an hour, and it looks like I went an hour and 20 minutes. I appreciate you all staying here with me. If you watched to this point and you're not subscribed, I think you like this channel. Come along for the ride. Look in the comment section. Don't subscribe for me. Subscribe for all the wonderful people that are here with us. Allie J and Chris Signs and John Manuel and Achiro and Judy Anderson and Phil and Mara Christensen, all these lovely people that show up. You are in fine company in the comment section of this channel. Mummy Brown. Let's not forget Mummy Brown too. But you can hear my voice. It's almost done. Almost. So, thank you very much. We have a new video coming out on Friday, so we will see each other again very soon. further up the road. So everyone, thank you, good night, and take care.